Greetings and welcome to today's session. As promised, this is our last KABS ICT paper 1 for 2024 to the new curriculum learners who are looking forward to do their final paper on 30th. So this is another revision paper for KABS ICT Resource Center. I remember showcasing this paper in the previous video lesson. And for item 1, it says Rita runs a small business and uses a single computer to manage her inventory processes, sales reports, and maintain customer data. She has basic knowledge of ICT but struggles with starting the system correctly. Using spreadsheets to track finances and securing her data, Rita recently experienced a computer crash that resulted in data loss. She is concerned that if this continues, she may lose crucial business information. So here we are looking at the support material provided. We are looking at a computer with some spreadsheet windows open. We are looking at a computer crashing. We are also looking at a UPS. Then a computer screen with backup images and all that. Task. Part A, guide Rita in selecting the appropriate ICT tools and practices for managing her business. Then Part B, advise Rita on how to protect her data and prevent further loss through effective security measures. So from here, we want to see what does the scoring guide say. Then after checking through the scoring guide, we can go ahead and give some of the expected responses. So here you need to provide a focused introduction, and this one will give you 1 mark. Then from there, you have to briefly describe some of those ICT tools and practices to manage the business. At least a minimum of 5 responses will score you 4 scores. Then the scores go on reducing depending on the number of responses you have provided. Then for part B, explains methods for protecting data and preventing further data loss. So a minimum of 5 responses, you will score 4 scores, and the scores go on reducing depending on the number of responses that are correct and that you have provided. Then you give a conclusion. That one will also earn you 1 mark. Then the format of the document will also earn you 1 mark. So you need to remember that the introduction is taken from the scenario itself. So you have to understand the scenario very well, and the task provided, you generate an appropriate introduction. Same for the conclusion. The conclusion can be gotten from the scenario itself, the task itself, or according to the points, the responses that you have provided. So for example, here on our introduction, we are seeing that Rita's business relies on a single computer to handle critical functions like inventory management, financial reporting, and customer data storage. However, she struggles with system startup issues, managing spreadsheets for finance, and risks losing important data due to crashes. Without proper ICT tools and practices, Rita's business operations are at risk. So that is our focused introduction. So with this introduction, you expect to get 1 score. Now, answering part A, we are supposed to guide Rita in selecting appropriate ICT tools and practices for maintaining them. 1, we have an interruptible power supply. Mention a point or identify a point, identify a tool, then further explain it in line with the scenario. So a UPS, we are seeing that it protects against sudden power outages, preventing unexpected shutdowns and allowing Rita to save her work. Then another tool, you remember that tools are both hardware and software. So here we are looking at Microsoft Excel. So with Excel, we are looking at it as a reliable tool for handling her financial reports, tracking inventory and processing sales, offering in-built-in templates for calculations and analysis. So when you look at Excel, for example, when we open Excel, you will find that Rita is able to use in-built-in templates. For example, here under templates, we are able to search for invoices, for example. When we search for invoices, we are able to pick any template that Rita can use in her business. For example, this one. So when you look at this template here, Rita is able to customize this one by putting the details of her business. Then she comes here, she puts the item description, unit price, if she provided a discount, and then the totals. So here, she will not go into much using those functions and what, because it is already built in with those functions. Then the totals will come automatically. That is one way we are recommending Rita to use Excel. Then another tool, Microsoft Word, it allows Rita to create and maintain business documents such as customer communications, business reports, and letters. So we have seen you can do mail merge with Microsoft Word, you can produce reports and all that. Then Rita needs to do backup on hard drives or even on cloud storage such as Google Drive or OneDrive. This one provides a secondary location for important files, ensuring that her data is safe even if her computer crashes. So a minimum of 5 responses, you get 4 scores. So we are saying that you have to identify a tool, you identify your tool, and briefly describe it. You briefly describe your tool. Then from there, let's look at part B, where we are advising Rita on how to protect her data and prevent further loss through effective security measures. One, Rita needs to do regular backups. We can now flatly explain it or briefly explain it. Automatic backups to cloud storage, e.g. OneDrive or Google Drive, to ensure that important business data such as financial records and customer information are not lost. So we have identified a measure and briefly explained it. Then antivirus software. Rita should install and maintain antivirus software like Notion or Avast, even Kaspersky, to prevent malware and protect the computer from the viruses. So that is also a recommendation or a mitigation measure. Then password protection and encryption. Secure sensitive files and customer data using strong passwords, and encrypt important financial documents. More to that, software updates. Regular updates to operating systems and applications like Windows and Office will ensure that any vulnerabilities are patched, reducing the likelihood of crashes and data loss. So these are some of the recommendations that we are giving for her to protect and take care of her gadgets. So here, a minimum of 5 responses, you get 4 scores. Then the conclusion: by implementing regular backups, installing appropriate security software, and using reliable tools such as Excel, Word for managing her business, Rita can protect her data and ensure her business operations run smoothly without further interruptions. So you can see that this conclusion has been taken from the points we have raised and also from the task itself plus the scenario. So we give the conclusion, which will also earn us 1 score. Then we have the format for the document, which will earn us 1 mark. And finally, item 1, 11 out of 11 scores. Let's now look at item 2. When it comes to item 2, that is section B part 1, where we are supposed to answer 1 question out of the 2. Item 1 is compulsory. When it comes to section B part 1, there are 2 items. So the second item, a primary school in your district has been using outdated computers For years, recently, some of the machines have stopped functioning and the school administration has decided to replace them. The school plans to discard the old computers but is unaware of proper e-waste disposal methods. They are also concerned about the security of students' data stored on the old computers. So here we are looking at the support material, these images, the pictures provided. We are seeing a pile of old computers. We are seeing an interface of delete data, select files, permanently delete, etc. Then we are seeing a factory of recycling plant. Then we are also seeing someone trying to destroy the hard disk with a hammer. Task Part A. Advise the school on secure methods to erase all sensitive students' data from the old computers before disposal. Part B. Provide guidelines for environmentally safe disposal of electronic waste. So when we look at item 2 scoring guide, you have to also provide a focused introduction, study the scenario very well, study the task very well, and get a focused introduction. 1 mark, 1 score there. You have to describe the methods for securely erasing sensitive data on those storage devices. At least a minimum of 5 responses, 4 scores. Then if you provide less than 4 responses, those are the scores you will get if at all they are correct. Then part B, you have to explain how we can environmentally safely dispose these ICT gadgets or electronic waste. At least a minimum of 5 responses, you get 4 scores, and the scores go on reducing depending on how many responses are more correct. You have to give a conclusion which will earn you 1 score. Then the format of the document, 1 score. Total 11. So let's briefly look at the responses. Introduction: a primary school plans to replace its outdated computers, but they are concerned about the sensitive student data stored on these machines. Additionally, they need to ensure that the discarded computers are disposed of in an environmentally responsible manner to avoid contributing to e-waste. That is an introduction. Introduction will carry us 1 score. Then let's see part A, how to advise the school on the secure methods to erase all sensitive data from the old computers. 1. Full disk formatting. Identify a method and flatly explain it, briefly explain it, or illustrate it, or give examples there. So here we are saying that with full disk formatting, it removes most data from the hard drives, but is not entirely secure on its own, as data can still be recovered. We can use the dban as a method. It is a free tool that completely wipes data from the hard drives, ensuring that students' information cannot be recovered. So identify the method and then go ahead and explain it. The next method, we have factory reset with data shredding software. That is a point. So from here, we can perform a factory reset on each device, followed by the use of data shredding software such as Eraser, which overwrites data multiple times. So that is also another method we can use to erase data. Then next we have physical destruction. So here we are seeing this hammers. This person is trying to hammer or trying to destroy this hard disk. It is a method, physical destruction of hard drives. For highly sensitive data, physically destroy the hard drives by drilling holes or by using a shredder. So you can use a hammer and hammer it and destroy it completely so that no one can recover data from it. So here at least a minimum of 5 responses, you get your 4 scores. Then let's look at part B. Part B, provide guidelines for environmentally safe disposal of the electronic waste. So here, one, recycling centers. We can partner with certified electronic waste recycling centers to safely dispose of the computers, ensuring that toxic materials like lead and mercury are handled responsibly. Then more to that, donation. What are we going to do with donation? Functional components of the old computers can be donated to organizations that refurbish technology for educational or charitable purposes. Next, we can look at component reuse. Then salvage working parts such as power supplies and RAM for use in other systems for future repair needs. So we can keep them in case a computer breaks down. We get that spare and we use it. Then, more to that, we can sell to refurbishing companies. So here, the school could sell the computers to companies that specialize in refurbishing and selling old technology by reducing waste. So that is the point identified and then briefly explained. So a minimum of 5 responses, you get your 4 scores. Then let's conclude. The school should ensure that sensitive data is properly erased using secure data shredding tools or physical destruction of the hard drives. Additionally, partnering with certified e-waste recyclers will help manage the disposal process in an environmentally responsible way. So this is our conclusion, which earns us also 1 score. Then the format of the document. So with the format of the document, when we add there, these are also 11 scores. Let's look at the next item. Item 3, we are still on section B part 1. Item 3, a tech startup has a growing team that frequently shares files and collaborates using online platforms. Recently, a few employees have raised concerns about their personal health, citing issues like back pain, eye strain, and general discomfort due to prolonged use of computers. Additionally, the company's IT department has discovered that a large number of unused electronic devices are piling up in storage. So we are looking at this support material. A person is seated comfortably as it is recommended ergonomically. Then we are looking at this one is using blue glasses as he's operating on computer. We are seeing a pile of unused gadgets piled somewhere in storage. Task: provide recommendations for improving employees' health and safety in the workplace regarding ICT use. Additionally, suggest measures the company can take to properly manage and dispose of unused electronic devices. So this is our task. As you are going through this video, pause, rewind, and follow it very well. But also, these details are also provided in the video description. I always include additional sources and links to download such papers. So let's look at the scoring guide for this item 3. You must provide a focused introduction, which will earn you 1 mark or 1 score. You describe the health and safety recommendations. You can identify the health and safety recommendation, then briefly illustrate it or explain it, or even by using examples. Maximum, you will earn 4 scores here. And also, as you continue to explain the measures of managing unused e-waste devices, maximum 4 scores. So give a conclusion, 1 score. Then the format of your presentation, the format of your document, you earn 1 score there. So briefly here, we give an introduction. So when you give your introduction, which gives you 1 score, we are seeing that a tech startup has encountered health and safety issues among its employees due to prolonged ICT use. Additionally, unused electronic devices are accumulating in storage, which could lead to inefficient space management and environmental concerns. So let's look at the health and safety recommendations. 1. Ergonomic chairs and desks. Let's talk about them. We need to introduce adjustable furniture to ensure employees maintain a proper posture while working for long hours. So that is a point being flatly explained. Then breaks and screen adjustments. How should we expand this? We need to implement policies for taking regular breaks to reduce eye strain, back pain, and discomfort. Additionally, we can use anti-glare screens and ensure proper lighting in the workspace. That is how we can expand it. Then next, among the health and safety recommendations, proper sitting posture. Here, we need to provide training on maintaining an upright posture and sitting up the workstations ergonomically to prevent musculoskeletal problems. Then, eye protection. We need to encourage the use of blue light filters or software that adjusts screen brightness based on time of the day to reduce eye strain. So that is eye protection, and that's how we have briefly expounded on it. So at least a minimum of 4 scores are allocated to that part. Then here, how are we going to manage the unused electronic waste? Here, we need inventory management, and under inventory management, we are going to conduct an audit of all devices in storage, classifying them based on their condition and potential for reuse or refurbishment. More to that, we can consider donation, so we can donate functional devices to schools or non-profits that need access to technology. More to that, there is e-waste recycling. We need to partner with certified e-waste recycling companies to safely dispose of non-functional devices and ensure hazardous materials are handled correctly. That is e-waste recycling, and that is its explanation. More to that, reuse components. Here we are saying that salvage usable components such as RAM, hard drives, and power supplies for future use in repairing other devices or building new systems. Then let's give a conclusion. Here a minimum of 4 scores. Then, by implementing ergonomic solutions in the workplace and managing the unused devices through inventory audits, donation programs, and e-waste recycling, the startup tech can improve both employees' well-being and environmental sustainability. So that is our conclusion, which will earn us 1 score. Then the format of the document, 1 score. In total, these are also 11 scores. Then let's look at section B, part 2. Here you also attempt 1 item, but for our discussion we shall always attempt both, so that for you in your exam you choose which item is easier for you in that section. So item 4, a small NGO has decided to launch a new online platform to share research reports and community outreach information with the public. The team is unfamiliar with file and folder organization, and their current method of storing research files on shared drives has resulted in frequent loss and duplication of important documents. They also need a well-designed website to publish their reports online. So here we are seeing a screen with disorganized files and folders. We are seeing an image of backup screen. Then we are also seeing another screen with organized folders, well renamed, and files are inside. Task: develop a detailed plan for NGO to implement an effective file and folder management system. Additionally, suggest how they can create a website to publish their research and reports for public access. So as a candidate who has undergone through all these topics, we expect you to answer this. So let's look at the scoring guide. Remember, items of section B part 2, they carry 8 scores. So meaning that you need to give a focused introduction, 1 mark. Then as you explain your points, they can be grouped into 3, 3, and then a conclusion, 1 mark, total 8 scores. So let's look at expected responses of item 4. You must number your work very well. Item 4, we give an introduction. So when you give your introduction, which takes 1 score, let's look at how we can advise them to implement an effective file and folder management system. 1, they need a folder structure. Organize files by project or category, e.g., research, reports, outreach program, to reduce confusion and prevent data loss. Then they need consistent naming conventions. So here they need to use clear and consistent file names that includes dates or project identifiers such as report Jan 2024 version 1.docs. Then they need backup procedures. They need to implement automated backups using cloud storage or even on external hard drives to prevent loss of important documents. So here at least 3 scores can be earned on that area on how to implement effective file and folder management system. Then next, how they can create the website and share their content to the public. They need a content management system such as WordPress. They can use a simple content management system like WordPress, which allows non-technical staff to easily upload and manage content. Then more to that, clear navigation. We need to ensure that the website has a clean, intuitive navigation menu that organizes content into sections like reports and outreach. More to that, mobile compatibility. Here, what do we mean? We need to ensure the site is mobile friendly, as many users may access the website from their phones. We give a conclusion. So here at least a minimum of 3 scores. Then a conclusion: by implementing a logical folder structure and creating a well-organized website using WordPress, the NGO can better manage its data and reach a wider audience with its work. So this is our conclusion, and it has 1 score. So meaning that here, one would even give procedures on creating a website and how you can create pages there and publish them. So here we are done, and here at least you get 8 scores. Then the last item, that is item 5. Paul and his classmates are working on a group project that involves creating a multimedia presentation about their school's history. They have access to several tools including PowerPoint, Microsoft Publisher, and a video camera. However, they are unsure how to combine text, images, and videos into a coherent and interactive presentation. They also need to know how to present the final product offline. So here we are looking at the interface of history project. We are looking at the interface of a video editing software with a camera. We are seeing Microsoft Publisher interface. Then a flash pressed on a laptop, and some images are there on the laptop. So, task: help Paul and his group plan how to create a multimedia presentation using the available tools, providing guidelines on how they can integrate text, images, and video clips into their presentation, and ensure it is properly structured for an offline presentation. So here, also the scoring guide for this number is emphasizing that we give a focused introduction. We describe how to create a multimedia presentation. One would give steps there for creating a presentation and the slides, and how best you can save it for offline use. Then explain how to structure that offline presentation. So we need to see steps there. A conclusion will earn you 1 score and total 8. So you need to give an introduction. So this intro is always at least 1 score. Then creating the presentation. Here you need to show some steps. One, we need to begin by creating a PowerPoint. That is Microsoft PowerPoint. We can use PowerPoint to combine text, images, and video clips. We can begin by organizing text chronologically using bullets to highlight the key historical events. More to that, image and video integration, we can go to insert. We can use the insert function. Here, insert historical photographs and short video clips using the insert function. Make sure to resize images appropriately to maintain clarity and avoid cluttering the slides. More to that, multimedia enhancement. Here, we need to add transitions, transition effects, we need to add animations, we need to add hyperlinks to navigate between different sections of the presentation and making it more interactive. One can talk about adding slides. You can even give procedures, how you start from scratch to create a presentation, adding all those different multimedia elements and saving it for offline use. We need to see procedures here. More to that, let's see how can we structure for offline presentation. One, you can save the presentation as a PowerPoint show. Save the final presentation as a PowerPoint show. That is .ppsx, so that it runs automatically when opened without needing PowerPoint installed. So this method, it means that if you have your presentation, you can click File, Save As. Then on saving, you save it as a PowerPoint show, that is ppsx. So save it. For example, I save it under Documents and I click Save. So what I've saved, if I go to Documents and I look for my presentation, it is here. It will load here. Even though you don't have PowerPoint installed on your computer, this one will load automatically on your presentation without needing you to have PowerPoint installed there. So that is it. More to that, we are looking at link sections for easy navigation. Here, this is why you are putting hyperlinks. One can use action buttons to create interactive links on the title slide, allowing users to jump to specific sections of the school history, e.g., if one wants to see what happened in the 1950s. So create those hyperlinks using action buttons or even words themselves to link. Then finally, export to video. We are looking at for offline presentation. So one would export the presentation to video format for easier offline sharing and viewing on different devices. So that means that with my presentation, I can click File, then I say Export. From there, I say Create a video. Then from here, I say Create video. This one, your presentation will be turned into a video, and therefore you can share that video to your colleagues. So those are also 3 scores. Then you give a conclusion, which is also taking 1 score, and item 5 also will carry 8 scores. So this is it for this October KABS paper 1. We have fully gone through this paper. Please check through the video description and download this paper for your further reference and revision. So remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. When you go to YouTube, search for Kakuru Benard. When you search for Kakuru Benard, you will see that kind of branding. So you click on it and then you go under videos. So when you go under videos, before even you scroll to videos, first tap subscribe so that you keep following the new videos. For example, here I've given final tips to ICT paper 1 only. Make sure you watch that video and see how best you can respond to different scenarios as presented to you. Then here there is another KABS ICT paper for October. That was set 1 for October, and today we have been looking at set 2 for October. More to that, even the paper of UNEB paper 2, I've already done its video. The video is here. Take time and go through it. Then there are other paper 1 theory papers, especially the ones for September. There is one set here. Make sure you go through it. All these papers have scenarios and their responses. Then there is also another paper here for September. You can also go through it and have a feel of that paper. There is also another paper 1 that was for July, August. You can also go through that paper. I've also included the video description. In the video description, I've also included all these videos for paper 1 for your reference. So I'm available for those who need me to facilitate their learners in A level. So I'm available to facilitate candidates of A level, both paper 1, paper 2, and paper 3. We look at the syllabus coverage very well. We look at the structure of sub ICT papers. We continue to look at the distribution of these numbers. How are learners supposed to answer knowledge questions? How are they supposed to answer comprehension questions? How are they supposed to answer application questions? Then how about analysis questions? Then we look at different types of these questions. We continue to understand how best can we plan for paper 1, how best can we pass ICT, how do we provide better answers, and all that. So finally, we ensure that we have handled all papers very well from paper 1. We look at how to answer all those questions. We go in paper 2, paper 3, how best can we burn our work on CD, how best can we print our work as the product. More to that, you need to remember that I'm preparing one of the comprehensive new curriculum ICT books. So this one is called ICT Mastery for Uganda's Competence-Based Curriculum. So this book is going to cover Senior 1 to Senior 4. It is a guide to theory and practical. So I've called it ICT Mastery for Uganda's Competence-Based Curriculum, S1 to S4 Guide to Theory and Practical Success. This will be one of the massive books you need to have. It will have activities of integrations from Senior 1 to Senior 4 with their responses. It will have a number of complete paper 1 scenario questions, item 1 to item 5 and their responses. It will have paper 2 scenario questions, that is item 1 and item 2, and how best we can approach them, that is the responses on each item. Then from there we shall still talk about the elements of construct and how best we can pass ICT in the new curriculum. That's why it's labeled Guide to Theory and Practical Success. Just wait for it. By mid-December the book will be out. So far I can see it is about 140 pages, so meaning that we are almost there. So we have to continue looking at the syllabus, what is covered in Senior 1, and how best can we produce this learner, a graduate profile. We need to see this learner coming out when you go through this very book. So I'm available for those who need me to talk to their S6 candidates. Please call my contacts so that I come there, we have a discussion, with those senior 6 learners. So here are my contacts. Feel free to WhatsApp me or give me a call. It's only MTN on WhatsApp. Airtel is for calls only. My email is there. Jabres, continue subscribing and sharing to your colleagues. Success is for candidates. Success to senior 6 candidates who are looking forward to begin their exams in November. Jabres.